Alright, y'all. We got another video reacting to DIA Go Fit. He talking about, the Reddit shit people be using, trend, Reddit, just all this steroid using shit when you could be natural, bro. You could be natural and be lean. Now look, this nigga's bigger and stronger than me. I'm not saying they ain't. But this is all natural, baby. Ain't no flocking nothing, nigga. Y'all niggas use all these peptides and drugs and all this bullshit. Only thing I smoke is weed. Marijuana, nigga. Let's get to this video.
This is what you take now in time in 2026. Let's break down what to expect first and foremost. Let's check the physique. So these are just typical retatrutide type transformations. I don't know if these guys actually took Reddit or not, but this is what to expect. Losing that much fat takes years. Okay, so this guy lost this weight in 6 months. Let's check this out. Okay, so we see what has happened here. Crazy stuff. Now, this is absolutely to be expected, if not more, when you take a GLP like retatrutide. So many of my clients hop on this stuff and they see insane results. The problem with Reta, if you're taking it properly when you're taking a GLP in general, is not losing the weight too fast. That's what you need to worry about, because if you do, if you're very overweight, let's say you're like this guy right here in this video. This dude has stretched out his skin massively and he's at 315. If you were to drop this down to, let's say, 180 within the time span of 2 weeks to a month, he's gonna have sagging skin. So that's what you don't want to happen. When you take this stuff, you can drop weight so incredibly fast. That becomes your main concern. It's not just losing the weight, because it will happen very quick. The problem is not running into the sagging skin, which is absolutely a widespread issue with this stuff, because so many people hop on, they're like, let's lose weight, yes, finally. And then you lose it too fast. So it's like, you would have been better off just being overweight. The sagging skin's not a good look. In a health standpoint, yes, it's a lot better to have the sagging skin and be very skinny or not have that body fat anymore, but it's not a good look. The only way to get that removed once you have it is via surgery. If you're having a ton of
and you see how he just said it's better for you to just be out or just be a fat ass than to take these drugs. So all my natural bodybuilders, y'all doing the right thing. The big backs that are trying to stay natural and do it the right way, losing y'all 2 pounds of body fat or going to a low body fat percentage every other week, every other month, slowly but surely. Good job. Because we don't need these type of drugs, bro. It gets you to the point where you're so saggy and your skin so saggy, nigga, you gotta get surgery. You don't want that to happen just because you took a drug just to fulfill your insecurities, my nigga. Come on now, bro.
sagging skin. It's not like it's just gonna go back and you're gonna have elastic skin again. Once you have it, it's there. You're gonna have to get it cut off. So that's the only downside with this stuff. But this is absolutely results that you should expect on it. Let's break down another one here. Watch Reddit ruin your life. Here goes. There's just another kid that's probably gonna hop on this stuff. There you go. So these are just typical transformations you can expect. And if you see guys who actually do this properly, this is another example, it makes an impact. The reason why it works is because you're not gonna eat on the compound. Despite what anyone says, all the benefits, the metabolism increase, all these weird little variables that are going to help you lose weight, it's because you're not eating. The only thing that helps you lose weight fast is being in a caloric deficit. There's nothing else. You could run a marathon in a day. If you're not in a caloric deficit, you're not dropping weight. This stuff.
Thank you, nigga. No matter how much you think you can do, you can work out 7 days a week, 2 days, and you still won't lose weight if you're not in a caloric deficit, my nigga. Protein surplus, but a caloric deficit. That means that your calories should be lower than your maintenance, but your protein should be higher than your protein maintenance.
Allows you to easily be in a caloric deficit without it being a chore, without it even being something that you're consciously thinking of. It reduces appetite noise in full. If you're doing it properly, it's not going to fully reduce your hunger. You absolutely still be hungry a little, but a lot of people just lose hunger in general. So they're just kind of eating as a chore to just get some nutrients in. If you're doing it properly, the whole purpose is to reduce appetite noise. Now, what happens with a lot of people, specifically a guy like this that you're seeing on the screen, he's getting his dopamine hits from food. These people, when you let yourself get to this point, point, this person has a massive addiction, and it is to food. It's not to rec drugs, to alcohol. It's not to bad vices. This is a horrible vice, especially when it's junk food. But this is what these people are given into, and what this stuff will do is going to help you stop this habit in full, and that's why it's so effective. This is what this stuff actually is, to do a full breakdown of this stuff. So Retta, it's an investigational triple hormone receptor agonist. It's developed by Lilly, who's the almighty powerful god of this stuff. They're the ones that are pushing this to pharma. These are the guys in suits and ties that are giving you your pharma grade stuff. The big parent corporation of the GLP wave. So this is going to be the next generation successor to Sema, to TERS. This is the next variant. The original variant of GLPs was Ozempic, was semaglutide. That was the original variant of the stuff. That's a prehistoric compound. Is it very effective? Yes. But then the next variant came out, which was TERS, which is a GLP-2. And this is also commonly branded as Mounjaro. It's what you might know it as. These were the first two variants, and these are still the two active variants in the pharmacy world of things. In compounding pharmacies, you can actually go to a clinic, a fat loss clinic, or wherever, and get this stuff prescribed to you very simply like this. They hand out the scripts like candy. But these two are tried and tested. These have gone through massive amounts of human clinical data. These things have so much money being burned on testing on them. So you know for a fact, these things have so much backing when it comes to these tests. They have millions upon millions and millions of dollars going into human clinical data, human studies, so that they know for a fact this stuff is safe. This stuff is good to take. There might be this side effect, but we have long-term data. We have data over thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of humans to know what you're going to run into and to know the outlier effects, to know the general average consensus of the compound. They have that for GLP 1 and 2, which is again semaglutide and TERS. They don't for Retta yet. You can't go to a clinic and get this prescribed. Lilly's actively on par to do it, and it will absolutely happen eventually here, give or take a year or so maybe, but it's gonna pop off. It's gonna go mainstream once data is there, once we go through a little bit more time to get this stuff the data it needs. But this is what it is. It's a GLP-3. So unlike Sema, unlike TERS, this stuff is hitting 3 separate hormonal pathways as opposed to the one from Sema or the 2 from TERS. It's just an additional hormone pathway that it's hitting. It's a little bit more potent, a little bit more effective. It's gonna reduce appetite noise a little bit more. From the data that we can see, at least, this is definitely the most effective weight loss med that's
I respect, bro. He's giving a lot of information, but I don't give a fuck. Like, bro, y'all fat motherfuckers should have never gotten that big in the first place. Ugh. You should have saw at some point in time. If you're anything over 250 and you're under 6 foot and you're over 250, no muscle mass. You're over 6 foot. I mean, you're under 6 foot and you're over 250. No muscle mass like that, right? You should have found out that you was getting out of shape by the time you hit 195, 200 pounds, under 6 foot, no muscle mass. So you had an extra, because we can count it by 5 pounds or 10 pounds a week of what you're gaining throughout the years. Or let's do months. Let's not do weeks. That's crazy. Months. If you're gaining an extra 3 to 5 pounds a month within those 12 months, nigga, that's anywhere from 36 to 60 pounds you added. And you could have been 185 and now you end up being, or you could have been 200, whatever. Lower than that. Let's say you was 165, 170, and you gained 50 to 60 pounds. Now you're like 2 something, bro. You're like 210, 215. Are you gonna stop? No. You love the food you eating, nigga. You probably got a good job. Keep paying for the good old gross food you got. And you're gonna keep on going further and further down the rabbit hole. To the point where you say you're gonna need this bullshit that he's showing. If it's any type of drug in any kind of way, like you gotta use needles, you got this oily shit. No, bro, don't use that, bro. It's easier said than done. But you took yourself to that point where you was over 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270. You know what I'm saying? 300. That nigga was 315 pounds. So you decided to keep going that far, and now you want to just get a little redder. Things are gonna no, bro. Put the work in. Drop the food. Eat a fucking salad, and don't just act like I'm craving a salad today. I'm craving some fruit today, knowing damn well you're not really craving that shit for real, bro. Don't lie to yourself, my nigga. Just stop eating the bullshit and work out. You can't do one without the other. You can't work out and then eat bad. You can't just eat well and then not work. Do both, bro. For the fat motherfuckers, you have to do both. You have to work out resistance training and eat in a caloric deficit while in being in a protein surplus and working out. Those are the three things you need to do. Work out 3 times a week at the minimum. 3 times a week. That means Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's the lowest you can do. Added to being in a caloric deficit and a protein surplus. And you will change your body within 6 months. You're going to see a change. And then keep going on and on and on. You don't stop after 6 months because your fat ass decided to eat so bad for 5 years. Why do you think after 6 months you're going to be back to where you started or even better? No, dickhead. If you've been eating like a fat ass for 5 years, you got to work out probably for 10 years. Who knows? Only your body knows truly. Now, of course, if you put the work in, you can get done way shorter than 5 years. You ain't got to work out for 5 years straight. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't start off by you just working out for 3 months and then you're done. It has to be a lifestyle because basically you're either going to be a fat ass or in shape. There's no in between, gang.
Out there because it's just an upgrade from the past variant. You can also run into, this is done via the studies, substantial reduction in liver fat, which is obviously to be expected when you're in a caloric deficit regardless. Up to 86% in some studies saw this effect. Very promising for MASH and NASH, and there are also improvements in HbA1c based on the studies, blood pressure, lipids, and waist circumference. So these are all things that come with, of course, being in a caloric deficit, sticking to a healthy diet, getting your adequate nutrient intake, and not taking all this processed garbage, eating all this junk food that's going to completely wreck your hormonal profile, completely wreck your lipid profile, your blood pressure, HbA1c. Sticking to a healthy diet will fix everything in your life. But this is such a hard thing to comprehend and actually put into action. You can be aware of it, but to implement it is a separate thing. 99% of America, whether you want to say that you're on a healthy diet or not, they're not on a healthy diet. Even if you're getting healthy items from a grocery store, chances are they're not healthy. You look at the ingredients, there's a million ingredients in there. There's crazy amounts of sodium in there. It's very difficult to stick to a strict organic and healthy diet. It's very, very hard. And it's not your fault for not sticking to a healthy diet. It's the grocery stores, it's the items, it's everything that you're buying, even at restaurants, healthy restaurants. It's not healthy. It's very difficult to get.
Nah, fuck that. Sometimes it's your fault if you decide to get to 315 pounds because see, simplicity of this shit is calories in, calories out. So even if you're eating bad food, you should not be 315 pounds if you're not playing football, if you're not a wrestler, if you're not playing no kind of sport that requires you to be 315 pounds. Then you decided to overeat and stay in a caloric surplus. Unknowingly, subconsciously, you decided to stay in a caloric surplus. So I'm not gonna be easy with y'all niggas. No, you can easily change that to be in a caloric deficit, even if you are eating bad food. If you're only eating 1,500 calories, nigga, you're not gonna lose weight. Man.
Healthy food nowadays. But when you do stick to a healthy diet, your blood's 180 in the right direction. You become an overall healthier individual, and that will show on your labs. Internally, it's going to show. Your body's going to thank you when you're eating healthy. So these are the common sides, though, to keep in mind. When it comes to sides, the most common, and these are going to be mostly mild to moderate, are going to be nausea, some type of diarrhea, constipation, vomiting, and also decreased appetite, which is a great side. That's the only reason you take this stuff. The other sides are accompanied by taking too much at once, and I see this happen all the time, not just with Retta, but with compounding pharmacies that'll give out Terns and Semiscripts, and they're telling people to pin it once a week. I don't know why they do this off the bat, besides the fact of wanting you to keep going back and getting more of their pins. If you're getting the pens where it has a single dose, this is a full-on cash grab, but even if you're getting it from a compounding pharmacy with a vial, a lot of them are just going to tell you take a shot a week. This is an absolute mistake, and I see this happen the same amount of times with compounding pharmacies for GLPs, the same with TRT. A lot of people, when you go to a TRT clinic, that nurse or that doctor is going to tell you take one shot a week and here's your Arimidex so that you can combat some estradiol related sides if you run into them. This is an absolute mistake. You will run into side effects. You're going to run into hormone fluctuations. Same thing with Retta, same thing with the GLP. You can't just take one shot a week. Don't get me wrong. Some people can absolutely get away with it and not run into sides. Still, when you do this, the compound's going to peak in your system and exit peaks and troughs. So you're going to run into crazy benefits. And when I say benefits with this compound, it's going to be crazy appetite suppression. That's why the decreased appetite could be considered a con if you literally can't eat anything. You're getting sick eating a chip or eating a piece of rice. That's a problem at that point. You have to understand that if you microdose this stuff, whether it's Retta, any type of GLP that you get prescribed the right way, like Terz or Sema, you want to microdose the stuff. You want to take it daily if possible, or every other day, as frequently as you can. The same goes with tests. If you're taking a Prop Ester or ACE, even E or C, if you're going to pin it more frequently, it's less hormone fluctuations. With this stuff, specifically with Retta, the more frequently you pin it, the more stable values you have across the board when it comes to your hormones, when it comes to the benefits, when it comes to the cons. It's going to be more stable, more realistic long-term taking this stuff if you're going to take it for a long period of time. You don't want to just pin it. This is when people run into sides, the nausea, the dizziness. Some people are online, they're like, I had such bad experiences on Retta, I had such bad experiences taking Terz. I'll never take that stuff again. I was throwing up, I was getting sick, I was nauseous. You probably took too much off the rip of this stuff. Please keep in mind your dose and your protocol. The way you set it up is a specific way for your body, and it's going to be different for everybody. Some people can take the shot a week and be fine. Some people will have to take it more frequently, but in general, the general average, the more frequently you pin, the better off you're going to be. It's just a general rule of thumb across the board when it comes to any hormones, when it comes to any type of peptide, when it comes to any type of GLP. So keep that in mind, please, with the sides. GLPs in general don't come with sides. If you're properly dosing it out, if you're not taking a crazy high dose, you're not pinning a vial of this shit in one go, you're gonna be fine with it. You need to figure out the dose that works for you exactly the same that you would on a cycle. Lowest, most effective dosing first, figure out what responds well to your specific body, dose it out for
I understand he's giving you every method, every way to take it, and that's cool, right? Hold on, let me make it smaller. And that's cool, right? But at the same time, bro, no, bro. Just stop. Do the opposite of what you're doing to get to where you got. And you gonna make a change, gang. I'm telling you. Oh shit.
yourself and take it as frequently as possible. I cannot stress this point enough. You will mitigate the majority of sides, if not all sides, doing it this way alone. When it comes to weight loss, if we actually pull up a study real quick, we can see that based on, this is just one study, by the way, there's been widespread studies and there's actively, once again, millions of dollars being pumped into human clinical data on this stuff. Now, what we can see on 3 randomized controlled trials encompassing 878 patients, this is on efficacy and safety of Retta. The conclusion was satisfied that Retta significantly reduced body fat, mean difference around 15%, 14.33 to be exact. Body mass index minus 5.38, waist circumference minus 10.51 centimeters, meaning these people are dropping this stuff fast. Fasting plasma glucose minus 23.51 milligrams of DL, hemoglobin A1C minus 0.91%, as we brought up earlier.
Not to mention anybody that depends on a drug to lose. My bad. Anybody that depends on a drug to lose weight, they gonna gain that shit back anyway. Most times that are not, 8 to 9 people out of the 10 motherfuckers that take that shit, 8 to 9 of them motherfuckers gonna gain that weight. Let me be real. All right, about 7 to 8. I believe 2 will be like, okay, I lost the weight. Now let me just go ahead and really work out. I just didn't feel like losing the weight like that, do all that work. But I lost the weight, did my surgery, now I'm gonna just stay fit. There's like 2 motherfuckers out of 10 that will actually do that shit and actually be on that shit. The other 7 to 8 motherfuckers is gonna gain the weight back or half-ass the training and slowly gain it back. Like, it may be 2 niggas that gain it back slowly. The first 2 years, they'll be kind of up tip-top shape, and then after that, they just over with, you know? While you got some niggas that gain it back within months, and then there's gonna be those 1 or 2 niggas that just never gain it back. They really use this shit the right way, and they, they do good. But that's not everybody. So this shit right here isn't for the norm, because the norm is the norm for a reason. So I'm telling the norm just to do the opposite. Do the opposite of what you did to take your fat ass back to being skinny or fit or lean, whatever you want to do, without having to go through surgery and all this medical bullshit, money and all this shit you gotta pay.
earlier, right?
Come on,
Systolic
bro.
and diastolic
Laziness.
blood
It's
pressure
showing that you're lazy. It's showing that you're a fat ass by doing that
and
shit.
minus 3.88 respectively. This stuff is obviously having a massive benefit, and this is not just a study done on 10 separate people around rodents. This is with 878 people. This is a very decent average of people to go based off of for your own experience on what you might run into, may or may not run into with your own experience taking this stuff. Whatever way you look at it, yes, it's a research compound. It is not in pharmacies yet, so it's not actually deployed. It's not legal. You can't get the stuff prescribed. It hasn't been deployed for scripts yet, but it's getting there. What you can expect in regards to these studies and what we've seen across the board, if you can take an average of the studies, you can absolutely run into unprecedented weight loss, about 24-30% reduction in your fat loss. That's absolutely massive. That's huge. That's 30% of your fat dropped off the bat, and it could be very quick depending on your dose. If you're going to dose it out properly, taking the healthy approach to not run into these sides, it can be longer. It's dependent on what you're trying to do and your goals specifically, but that's for you to decide if you're going to take it. It has a strong effect again on liver fat, metabolic health, potentially better muscle preservation than TERS as well, because it is hitting 3 separate hormonal pathways. But all this stuff is speculation. This is all data. There isn't hard concrete data to look at because it's all based on human clinical data, so keep that in mind. But it's not approved. This is what we know about the compound so far. So overall, when it comes to results, if you're just trying to drop the craziest amount of weight possible and you're trying to get fast results when it comes to reducing water weight, when it comes to reducing fat off your frame, this stuff is an amazing option, but it is not FDA approved. It hasn't gone through all those trials and tribulations that a compound like TERS or that SEMA has gone through. The long-term data, we're getting there, but it does not exist now. So what you're doing taking this, along with any other research compound, is you are a human guinea pig on yourself to determine whether or not the compound is going to have some type of benefit long-term for human use if you decide to take it. And that's the same thing with all these other research compounds. I don't specifically like research compounds. This is why I'm trying to make you aware of this. At this point, I'm not saying the compound's bad and it will most likely will end up getting mainstream adopted in the future. But let these other people that are taking this stuff as guinea pigs take it as guinea pigs and run to the sides. You don't have to run into the sides. You have TERS, you have FDA approved compounds and GLPs that are actively on the market. You get through a compounding pharmacy, making sure it's real stuff, because this is also huge when it comes to Reddit. You don't know where you're getting it from if you're going through a UGL or a research compound site. A lot of it's cooked up in very ghetto conditions. You don't even know if the stuff you're getting is Reddit. At least if you go through a compounding pharmacy, you understand what you're getting is real and that it has a long-term data backing it. This is the most clear-cut, safe way to do this. Let these other guys be human lab rats. You don't have to do this. But if you are consciously wanting to do this and you understand the risks associated with being a human lab rat, then by all means take it. It most likely will get mainstream adopted in the future, but it isn't now, and that is the problem with the stuff. Same goes with any other research compound. That's why I don't like these guys. There's some guys that are good, but when you look at these random TikTok dudes that are just promoting random research compounds that no one understands and no one knows, that aren't having any human clinical data, that only have rodent data or mice data or rabbit data, it's like, what are you doing openly promoting this stuff? You can't possibly understand the effects it's going to have on a human, let alone yourself, and you're taking it. Let these guys be the people that are doing this on socials. Just watch them, observe what.
I definitely want to say I apologize to bro if I came off in the way of like trying to come at him, because I'm not coming at bro. Like I said, I respect him. I've watched his videos offline, and I like bro. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to just straight up fitness, bro. Like, but I just in the beginning I kind of I got the illusion that he was trying to portray like it's okay for people to take it or whatnot. But he's breaking down everything that you get from it. That's all he's doing. That's all he's doing. So it's me. It's a me problem. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at nobody. It's a me problem. You know, I fuck with bro, but at the same time, it came off as if you was like go ahead. But he's saying that if you're a guinea pig, do that shit. Be a guinea pig then. So then everybody else can see that it's fucking you up for real, and then they don't want to take it. So I appreciate that. Yes, like round of applause. Yeah, because you know, like when you gotta understand this too. When you got shit like people that will promote things like this that can really fuck up your body, nigga, why don't y'all think they should go to not go to jail? That's really a crime if you lying. But I'm not saying him. I fuck with bro. I don't react to motherfuckers I'm not finna fuck. You know what I'm saying? I don't fuck with. I'm saying generally people that promote shit, like how we just saying the other guy that was on TikTok promoting shit that he doesn't know anything about. Bro, you don't think that's like jail time, my nigga? I'm just asking the question though. I don't know.
happening to these guys. Let them be stupid, let them be idiotic and do this and mess themselves up. And you can observe what's happening based on their own data. Now you can extract that from that person that did it and be like, okay, this may or may not be something I run into.
Exactly.
Give it a few months at least. If you're going to go based off a research compound, you'll see guys openly online. They will take this stuff, they will have crazy benefits, they will openly glorify it. And then 2-3 months go by, 6 months go by, a year goes by. They're running into crazy sides, actively, publicly on socials. But the issue is the damage is already done because they were already glorifying it. They were already saying, use my code KING to get this SARM. The damage is done because so many people already took it and got brainwashed into taking it. So now they're also at risk of all these crazy sides that are going to hit a year down the road, 2 years down the road. You don't know with this stuff. I'm not saying Reddit's bad, and I'm not even necessarily referring to Reddit in this situation, but I'm saying this is what you need to understand taking a research compound. If you're going to go the enhanced routes, I would say just hop on a blast or hop on any GLP, whether it's SEMA or TERS that is actually FDA approved and at compounding pharmacies. This is my point of view on this. Everyone's going to have a different perspective, but I go based off human clinical data. I'm not putting anything in my system that doesn't have crazy human clinical data backing it. I'm not a human lab rat. I will never consider myself a human guinea pig. I've only taken compounds in the past, even though I've run into sides that have crazy data, so I have predictable outcomes. This is what you should do as well. Read studies if you're going to take something. Literally just go to the National Library of Medicine, go to any type of PubMed, go to any type of site that has studies being put out to them and not just some random article. I'm talking about an actual website with verified studies that have been done on wide groups of people. This is going to be your best point of attack to understand what it is you're taking. Don't just be a sheep and take something because someone told you to take it. Don't do this. It's how you lose. Understand what you're taking. Do some research. It's very simple to do. Takes maybe max 15 minutes of your time to understand what it is that you're taking, or a simple Google search just to get an AI overview or something at least of what you're taking, right? Some people won't even do Google searches. Long story short, is Reddit effective? Absolutely. Based on what we've seen, is absolutely effective. Is absolutely more effective than TERS and SEMA, probably combined. It hits 3 separate hormonal pathways as opposed to 2 or 1. But is it still in that research phase? Yes. Are we getting to that phase of mainstream adoption? Absolutely. Are we there yet? No. So you got to be careful. But if you're trying to drop weight quick, if you want to be that human guinea pig, by all means go for it. Now look guys, if you like this video, like and subscribe. If you want to learn more about gear, go follow me on Instagram, DM me, ask me anything you want about gear.
Well, that's his Instagram right there, y'all, and that is his channel. DIA. I don't know if it's Diego Fit. Is it? I'm sorry. I watch his. Okay, Alex Diego. Okay, it makes sense now. Diego Fit. I like his shit. I like his channel, everything he does and whatnot. And he's right. Like, go ahead and do your own research on this shit, y'all. Like, I'm not. Let me go ahead and talk to y'all real quick, man. Oh shit, that wasn't supposed to happen. Come on, man. Look, y'all. I don't think it's good to take any of these drug shit except if you just smoking some marijuana like a nigga like me right here, nigga. I smoke weed. It is what it is. That's it. But these actual drugs that y'all taking to lose weight, gain weight, most of y'all are taking it is because y'all insecure and lazy. And once y'all decide to stop being insecure and lazy, you'll understand that all that fat you put on your body is your fault, and you're gonna put the work in and take away that fat. Don't follow no Ozempic, no Retta, no whatever the fuck that shit is. No, bro. Calories in, calories out. This shit's not hard. It just takes time, gang. I'm trying to tell you that shit, man. Y'all be safe, bro. Subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe to his channel. Whatever y'all want to do, just don't take no motherfucking Retta. And don't take no Ozempic. Y'all be safe.